Well, good afternoon, friends and family. I just want to share with you today my story of dealing with the coronavirus in my household. I remember about 4 weeks ago, I was reading ESPN.com. Yeah, I'm a sports fan. And I just read this little headline that Seattle was going to limit gatherings of 250 people and restrict it to anyone more than that. And I just thought, boy, this coronavirus situation starting to hit close to home. How is this going to affect me and my church when they extend that to the whole county, and now all of a sudden our church won't be able to meet? Well, the following day, I got a call from the middle school. I volunteered there on a weekly basis, at least I did. And then they said, hey, don't come in today. We're not having any volunteers at the schools today. And I asked them, what's going to happen next? Are they thinking of closing the schools? And they said, at this point, we really don't know what's going to happen next. But then the following day, the superintendent announced that schools are closing. They're going to close for 6 weeks. And at that point, I'm thinking, man, how are we going to do church? Do I even plan youth group anymore? How am I going to get any work done with the kids at home? How am I supposed to educate them and take care of them and get all my work done? I just didn't know how I'm going to do any of this. And then that very day, that afternoon, I got a text from Jen, my wife, and she just says, honey, I don't feel good at all. And I think I need to go straight to bed when I get home. And that's what she did. And she probably woke up the next day at about 2:30. And we took her temperature. It was high. She had headache, body aches, fatigue, of course, some shortness of breath, just all the signs of the COVID-19 virus. And of course, there were no tests 4 weeks ago. I don't even know if there are now, but they certainly weren't giving them to otherwise healthy people in their 30s. And so, really it didn't matter if she had it or not, because just everyone assumes you do have it when you show symptoms. And so the response is the same anyway. Stay home, quarantine, don't go anywhere, and isolate. And what they don't tell you about the isolation, the quarantine, is the worst part is the social an emotional part of it. There's sort of a stigma that comes with it, kind of a scarlet letter of, what did you do? Did you touch your face? Were you around too many people? Did you go out when you shouldn't have gone out? And who have you been talking to? Are you doing the quarantine right? And there's just a lot of questions that you get. And a lot of it's curiosity, I know, but there is just sort of a stigma that's attached to it. And so, yeah, between the social, emotional part, just taking care of 3 kids who have a lot of needs, and a sick wife who has a lot of other needs, needs 3 square meals a day, and needed me to bring her everything. Her favorite drink was Earl Grey hot tea with a splash of cream, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and just a touch of vanilla. And that was also 3 times a day. And just between all of it, I was just feeling worn out, ragged, terrible, isolated. But I don't say all this to as a sob story or to get clout or internet points. Really, I'm telling you this because I just want to tell you about my life group. They're so amazing, and they really came through for me in a time of need. They kept meeting without us hosting them. Usually we would host them on Friday nights, but this time they just met without us. And then they texted us, called us, said, hey, what do you need? How can we help you? And me, I'm just trying to be tough, be a hero. Like, oh, we don't need anything. We're fine. There's not much you can do anyway. We're supposed to be in quarantine. They said, well, we're going to make you a dinner. We'll make you another dinner. Someone else will bring you dessert. Someone else in our group's going to bring you flowers. We're going to help you. And without that group knowing me and who I am, they probably would have just said, oh, it's okay. You don't need anything. All right. We won't worry about it then. But they know better. They know that when I say I don't need anything, that I probably really do. And boy, they'd really they came through for me in a time of need, helped out a lot. And there's just days where you're worn out and you get a card, or you're not doing well, and they're praying for you. They tell you that. they're really there to support. They were really there to support me and really came through for me. And I don't want you to worry. Jen's fever went away after 2 days. All the symptoms were gone after 3 days. Jen was healthy and very bored for the rest of her quarantine in the bedroom. And I was very happy when it was finally time for her to come out and help out around the house and everything. But my point of this story is that everyone needs something sometimes. And that's why we all need healthy Christian community, people who know us and are ready to support us. Whether or not you get the virus, something's going to happen sooner or later. Your kid's going to act up. You're going to lose your job. You're going to have hard situations and times. And who is going to be there for you? You might think, oh, my family, my church, they're always there for me. But I'll just speak to the church part of this. The church is a really big organization. They're full of great people, but a lot of times information is hard to gather and it's hard to disseminate to the right people. We're kind of a choke point for information. And right now, my church probably is learning about or dealing with maybe this coronavirus through this video right now, a month later. But my life group, they knew about it right away, because once you miss a meeting, once you come up with that prayer request, people just know. And they knew me better than to deny help. They knew that they had to push through and actually give me help. And so whether or not you need community help sooner or later, someone else will. How are you going to be there for someone else? If you're not connected to the body of Christ, if you're not connected to Christian community in a meaningful small group setting, how are you going to know who needs help and when? And you might think, well, my church will tell me who needs help. But again, we are a choke point of information. And sometimes we don't learn about things till a month later. And sometimes we don't tell people things until a month later. And we're really not the best way to get people help in an immediate way. There needs to be a smaller Christian community for shepherding, sharpening, discipling, and taking care of each other. Everyone needs a small group setting. And the Bible talks about that too. In Romans 12:10, it just says this: be devoted to one another. You know, God doesn't just want us to be devoted to him. He wants us to be devoted to one another. And there are actually 58 other verses in the New Testament that talk about how we are to be devoted to one another. We need to love one another, forgive one another, serve one another. It says it in so many different ways that we need to be a part of one another. Not just when times are bad, but when times are good, because bad times are coming for everyone. You either need the help or you need to be in a situation where you can help other people get through what they're going through and be there as their shepherd. It's not just up to the pastor. It's not just up to the church organization. But everyone needs to be plugged into this, especially in this coronavirus season. So if you need help finding a group, that's my job. I'm here for you. Just send me a message, comment on this video. I'd love to help you find either an existing group that could use 1 or 2 more people, or maybe you're part of a brand new group. But right now, we need to be a part of one another's lives and be in a small group type of community. I love you guys. I hope you're doing well, and God bless you. Take care.